How to disassemble the TX-JF24 and the TX-JF20 jet fan. For best results, use Jet Fan Toolkit TX-JF-TK. 1. Remove both fan screens from housing. 2. Remove fan blade end cap and stationary housing end cap TX-JF2019. Be sure to place a timing mark on the fan blade and the end cap to ensure correct balance when reassembling. 3. Use part number TX-JF2022 bare hug socket to remove part number TX-JF2010 bare hug nut. Place socket over nut and secure tips into notches on side of nut. 4. Place bare hug socket holder TX-JF2025 over bare hug socket and secure into fan hub. 5. Wedge shaft removal tool TX-JF2026 between fan blade and guide fan strut of stationary housing to prevent blade from rotating when removing bare hug nut. 6. After the bare hug nut has been removed, make sure the shaft threads are clean and that no burrs or extrusions exist on the shaft. This will ease in the removal of the fan blade. 7. Remove fan blade from shaft housing using a bearing puller. If a bearing puller is not available, a rubber mallet may be required to help extract fan blade from shaft. From the reverse side, use a flat punch and rubber mallet with alternating blows. 8. Once the fan blade has been removed, the large snap ring, TX-JF2008, is exposed. Use large snap ring pliers to remove snap ring. 9. On the opposite side, use a smaller set of snap ring pliers to remove small ring, TX-JF2009. 10. Once the small snap ring has been removed, the locking safety shield, TX-JF2014, can be removed. 11. The shaft and bearing assembly can now be pressed out of the housing using the shaft removal tool, TX-JF2026. Do not apply extreme pressure when pressing, or stationary hub guide vanes may fracture. 12. Use TX-JF2030 3/32 seal removal tool to remove the air seal, TX-JF2006, from the stationary housing. There are 4 holes drilled into the housing to allow removal of the air seal. These can be accessed from inside the bearing housing area. 13. Remove bearing tolerance rings, TX-JF2020, from inside bearing housing and dispose. Tolerance rings cannot be reused. 14. Use a bearing puller to remove the bearings from the shaft. Bearing puller shaft insert, TX-JF2029, is used with bearing puller to help with bearing removal. The speedy sleeve, TX-JF2007, can also be removed from the shaft at this point. Once removed, the speedy sleeve cannot be reused. 15. Clean all necessary parts for reassembly. How to assemble the TX-JF24 and the TX-JF20 jet fan. For best results, use Jet Fan Repair Kit TX-JFRK to ensure original replacement parts and all components meet original standards. Make sure end caps and fan hub gaskets TX-JF2023 are smooth and free from nicks and tears. 1. Press one bearing, TX-JF2005, using bearing and shaft pressing tool, TX-JF2027, on the end of the shaft opposite the threaded end. Do not press bearing on the threaded end at this point. 2. Position the large flange of the speedy sleeve, TX-JF2007, toward the bearing and place speedy sleeve over the shaft behind the first bearing. 3. Use speedy sleeve pressing tool TX-JF2028 to press the speedy sleeve into place. The speedy sleeve should not touch the bearing. The speedy sleeve pressing tool will position the speedy sleeve in the exact position. Make sure the sleeve is smooth to the shaft. Any nicks in the sleeve could cause damage to the air seal. 4. Insert one tolerance ring, TX-JF2020, into innermost groove of bearing housing. Do not insert both tolerance rings at this point. 5. Drop shaft containing one bearing and speedy sleeve into housing until it rests against the one installed tolerance ring. 6. The outermost tolerance ring can now be installed. 7. Drop second bearing over the shaft and press it into housing using bearing and shaft pressing tool TX-JF2027. 8. Both bearings are pressed into place almost simultaneously. Tolerance rings are designed for one pressing only. Never attempt to press inner bearing through outer tolerance ring. 9. Secure shaft assembly in housing with large snap ring TX-JF2008. 10. On the opposite side, insert air seal TX-JF2006 into groove and seat firmly using the speedy sleeve pressing tool TX-JF2028. 11. Place lock safety shield TX-JF2014 over shaft and install small lock ring TX-JF2009. 12. Place gasket TX-JF2023 and end cap TX-JF2003 onto housing and secure. Alternate tightening of bolts to ensure proper air seal. Do not use the cap removed from the fan blade. This cap has a timing mark to ensure proper balance of the fan blade. 13. Place shaft key TX-JF2013 into slot and slide fan blade over shaft. 14. Use rubber mallet to ensure that fan blade seats against bearing hub. 15. Clean shaft threads using shaft thread cleaning tool TX-JF2031 before installing bear hug nut. This is important because aluminum from the fan blade will usually be caught between the threads while placing fan blade onto shaft. If this material is not removed prior to installing the bear hug nut, it may cause galling of the nut and not allow for proper tightening. In addition, it may be necessary to cut the nut from the shaft, which may also damage the shaft. 16. Secure fan housing to assembly table with clamps to keep housing from turning during bear hug tightening process. Use shaft removal tool TX-JF2026 to wedge between the fan blade and guide vane strut of the stationary housing to prevent fan blade from rotating during the tightening process. Tighten bear hug nut TX-JF2010 onto shaft. Make sure the bear hug nut is tight against the blade. 17. Install gasket TX-JF2023 and end cap TX-JF2003 onto blade. Alternate tightening of bolts to ensure proper air seal. Be sure to use end cap with timing mark to ensure proper balance of fan blade. Align timing mark on cap with timing mark on fan blade. 18. Install both fan guard screens and test. 19. Make sure grounding lug AM7 is affixed to one of the fan guard screen bolts. The grounding lug is used with AM29, grounding clamp with 6-foot wire, to discharge static during hazardous or explosive atmosphere use.